how do you think it goes? If we rebuild Stamford Bridge, how do you think it affects positively or negatively?
If there was a fence line now,
Come on.
splinters up my arse. Because I'm for it.
Hello there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Matt Talks Chelsea. And tonight we have a very, very special guest this week. We do, in fact, have the one and only Ben from SW6 Lions TV. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
Mate, I'm not too good, actually.
Why?
Not
Why's
too
that?
good. Well, after the game on Saturday, mate.
Oh, right. You still hung up about that one?
Mate, rushed all the way there. Literally got there 1 minute after kickoff. And I see that dire performance. Oh,
I think it doesn't make it so bad that Man United lost, Liverpool drew.
But that's worth. Like, I'd rather capitalise on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but I think that another positive is that it's really early on in the season, isn't it? So we've got a lot of time left to sort of claw it back and get it back to where we want it to be.
I just wasn't happy with the performance. I thought we were poor. I thought City was so much better than us. Did you feel that?
Yeah. So when I was watching it, I just thought, this City team, everyone saw they ain't got a striker, this over. Clearly, it doesn't matter because they were ridiculous. Their pressing game, I don't think Chelsea were quite ready for it. The press they put on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a bit of a poor performance from start to finish. But we move, we go again tomorrow night. Anyways. We'll get on to the first question then that I've got for you. So obviously 6 games done in the Premier League now. First 6 were tough. We had 4 of the top 6 sides in our first 6 games, 3 of them being away games. How are you feeling after the first 6?
Do you know what? So obviously we played Crystal Palace first. And I thought we played really well. And I was excited. After that, I was buzzing. And then we went to Arsenal after that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which again, another good performance. We looked good, but then after Arsenal, we've just started to slowly dip, and I could feel this coming, especially when we play a good team like Man City. We just not keeping the ball as well. Players' individual performance is not good enough. As we've said before on this show, Mason Mount obviously isn't. He's not looking up to it at the minute, is he?
No.
And if we're going to go by Saturday's performance, I thought Kante, obviously he's got COVID now, isn't he? But Kante was like a shadow of himself. I was like, oh my God, this is poor. But if you look at it, the points so far, I would have taken, what was it, 13 points?
We're on 13 out of a possible 18.
Yeah, I probably would have taken that. If you look at who we've had some big games. So
we had Arsenal away, Spurs away, Liverpool away, and then City at home. I think to be on 13 points and 1 point off the top, it's not bad going, especially looking at who Liverpool and United have played so far. Yeah, they've had pretty simple sides. Even Man City have had a pretty simple run so far. Them teams have now got tough games like City, Liverpool at the weekend. So I think to be a point off the top, having played 4 of the top 6, 3 of them being away, I don't think it's bad at all.
No, it's not. And there's no reason to put on the panic button, is there? We've lost one game against Man City. They're a good side. They were flipping good against us. It was a bit overreactionary from everyone. It's not a panic button. Tuchel, I think Tuchel did get it wrong. I do think he got it wrong, and we'll probably get that later on in the show. But I just think it was disappointing. I think it was disappointing the way we went out. There was no fight on Saturday. I said this. I went there with my dad actually, and as soon as they scored, the heads were just heads went down, mate. And I was like, we ain't gonna win this. As soon as they scored, and it was Rudiger, the back 3 were just having a go at each other. It just, something wasn't right. There was some balance wasn't right on Saturday, and I think obviously playing Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho. I just don't think the balance was right there. But
do you think that's where the problem was, the midfield?
Yeah, I do.
So obviously he took out one of the attackers, brought in a midfielder, and it kind of changed up the system at the start of the game, didn't it?
Yeah, they overran us in midfield. They really did. They were happy, Matt. They were happy to go 2-on-2 at the back. That's how much they like believed in their keeping the ball and stuff. Like me and my dad were saying it, but they're going 2-on-2 at the back here. If I was a manager, I don't even think I would want that. But Pep, like he's stuck in his ways, and it worked for him. But if it goes the other way and we win, then it's all on him, innit? Saying, "Oh, why are you playing like that?" Do you know what I mean? It's football's fine lines. Football's fine lines, and we didn't get it right. I don't think. I was sitting there in my seat. I was so frustrated because we just weren't pressing. We weren't doing enough. We were so lapsadaisical. Alonso, oh my God, he frustrated me. But back to your question. I'm very happy with what we've done so far.
I don't think we could have asked for anything less, to be fair. I think it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, it has.
But I think Saturday, where it went wrong is that he didn't play the front three. We usually have the sort of two wider players and then the one down the middle. I don't think Lukaku got into the game at all. I think he plays better when he's got the two off of him, when he's got Mount and Havertz off of him. I think he plays best. Werner, I don't think Werner had a bad game. I don't think anyone had a good game. I just think everyone was pretty poor in a sense. I know we
love Timo Werner.
We disagree on this so much.
I'm one of these, right? And I love Kante, and I can say, hand on heart, he had a shocker. Like, but I think, right, this is my thing with Werner. Like, I'm not like, I don't hate the guy. I just don't think at this moment in time, he's got the confidence to be good enough for Chelsea starting 11. He might, and I hope he does. I hope he proves me wrong. But him and Lukaku on Saturday, they were running into the same spaces. Like, they would like this. They were like so far. I'll give you one of them in a minute. They were like, honestly, they were so close to each other. There's no point.
No, do you know what? I'm not like delusional in the sense of, I know Timo Werner is struggling. He's not come in. He's not done what we expected him to do when he got brought in. He has struggled in that Weber. But one thing I will say, and yeah, it might seem like I'm trying to defend him right until that last minute. I know that he doesn't put the ball in the back of the net. It's so frustrating to watch. I am one of those fans that I'm screaming at the TV, or when I'm at the bridge, I'm losing my head in the stands because I'm like, just put the ball in the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? It can't be that hard. But I also think in our front three, what he brings, no one else does for me. I don't think anyone else brings that energy, that sharpness that he brings in that front three. That's why I actually quite like him, because I think Mount and Havertz, I think their style in terms of when they've got the ball is quite similar. They like to pick the ball up. They like to sort of find those pockets of space in between the midfield and attack. And I think in terms of actually front three, bar Pulisic, you could argue maybe Werner's the only one that really drives, gets in behind, sharp, is off the ball and whatever else. So that's why I think I still sort of defend this corner. But no, I'm not one of those fans who's going to sort of be blind to it. It is fucking annoying when he doesn't put the ball in the back of the net.
I was going to say to you, Pulisic would probably challenge, but obviously he's unfit. But I was saying as well, we've just got too many players in the same position. Like, you think we've got Havertz, Mount, Ziyech is still one of them players that likes to playing behind, isn't he? I just think we've got too many players that play in behind the striker, but you only get one position for that, and then because the two wingers, we haven't actually got proper wingers. Like, you don't Mason Mount right midfield. Not really for me. Yeah. Werner left mid, I can see it. I can actually see it. But then where'd you put Havertz? It's a tough one, really, because I just don't think they're wing. I want wingers that obviously the two wing backs obviously bomb on as well, so the system does work. But it's fitting them all in. It is fitting them all in. You don't get Werner, Havertz, and Mount all in the same team, really, do you? With Lukaku up top.
No.
I mean, it's it is a tough one. He's got a tough job.
Do you know what? It's interesting you speak about wingers, because one of the questions I've actually got for you is actually revolving a winger situation. If you could take a winger from any other club outside of the top six, and when I say top six, I'm talking traditional top six, so outside of Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, United, City, and Liverpool, any winger from any club outside of the top six, who are you taking? Because for me, it's pretty nailed on who I would take from another club outside the top six. But I want to get your opinion. Who would you take as a winger, like an out and out winger who's going to come in and be that sort of tricky, skillful, Hazard-like player for us? Who are you taking? Because I think the answer is pretty simple.
God, you've put me right on the spot there. I'm trying to think now. If you would have said the top six, I could easily pick one.
Yeah, but outside of the top six, say you've got a budget of 40 million and you're going out and you're buying a winger from outside the top six, who are you looking at?
Cool. I think I know you're going to say.
Go on.
Maddison.
Nah.
Oh, really?
Nah.
I want someone that beats a player. Zaha, are you saying Zaha?
No. See, that I'm not either.
Okay,
I know one thing, and I'll give you, and then you can get some inspiration.
I'd probably say Zaha because I'm clutching at straws really, but I'd say Zaha because he beats a player. I love them wingers that actually go for a play and beat them, like Pulisic would. I do like Pulisic on his day, but I'd probably say Zaha. I want to know yours.
I think you might have just slipped your mind. Alan Saint-Maximin from Newcastle.
Oh yeah, he's decent.
Mate, he is techie, bruv. He is a baller. He is going to get a move to a top six club next summer. I'm saying it now.
He will.
And he's not going to be that expensive. And I when I watch him play, or if I see like Newcastle or whatever, he is like Hazard was for us. In games where Newcastle are struggling, he will be the one that will pick them up. He'll pick the ball up. He'll drive at players. He'll beat players. He'll score that goal like Hazard used to do for us at Chelsea, and used to do it so well. Yeah. Honestly, I would not turn my nose up at signing Saint-Maximin. Genuinely.
It is a good shout. It is a good shout. But
I think he's the most underrated winger in the league.
You reckon he gets into our starting 11?
For a winger, yeah. Because like you said about the fact we've got sort of quite a few players that are very similar to each other, I think he brings that something different. I think it would work really well having, just say, for example, having Saint-Maximin, Lukaku and Havertz. Because then you've got Havertz who comes sort of narrower, picks the ball up in those pockets, likes to find that space. And then you've got Saint-Maximin who drifts wide, beats a man, takes a man on, like isn't afraid to shoot, isn't afraid to cross it. And I think he's just more of that different style of player, which I do think Chelsea are missing right now. I think Pulisic does it, but he's far too injury prone at the minute to warrant a place in this conversation. And it's really, really frustrating to see. But I would take Saint-Maximin in a heartbeat, I reckon.
Yeah, I would. The reason why I think he plays Havertz and Mount like centrally is because obviously the wing backs, isn't it? The wing backs get they're the wingers really. But so if you bring him in and it's going to get too, I think that's his thinking. It gets too congested down that side. But
I think we missed Mason Mount on Saturday.
Really?
Because I don't think any of what Mason Mount does so well is he'll bring that energy. He'll come deeper for the ball. He'll pick that ball up. He'll want to get the ball. He wants to find the pass. He wants to ping the ball left, ping the ball right. He wants that ball at his feet to find them passes. To me on Saturday, it didn't look like anyone wanted the ball at their feet to pick a pass, drive. Kovacic was quiet. He's usually that one to pick it up and drive. I thought he didn't do that as effectively as he normally does. I think, like I say, Kante had a bit of a quiet game. Jorginho was pretty quiet as well.
Hey, the reason Jorginho was quiet is because De Bruyne picked him up. That was definitely Pep's game plan there. They smothered Jorginho as soon as he got the ball. Bang, press.
Yeah,
it was definitely a tactic of theirs, and we couldn't get our flow, and we couldn't get our rhythm, and that was definitely a tactic of theirs.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it was just a case that that Pep just done Tuchel on a day. He just got his tactics right. Tuchel got his tactics wrong. Lose 1-0, you go again, and we come on to the next game, which is actually my next question. Actually, obviously, Juventus away tomorrow night. Game in the theory of it, because obviously in the Champions League group stage, if you can go away from home and not lose, I think it's a good result. If you can pick up a win, pick up a draw, it's still a good result, and especially against Juventus, who, whether they're struggling in the league or not, it's still Juventus. At the end of the day, they're still a massive European club, and yes, they're not doing that well in the league. But what are your thoughts on the game tomorrow night? How do you think it's going to go? How do you think we're going to set up?
I'm not too worried about the game, actually. I think we've got a lot of players out, mate. We've got Kante out, we've got Mason Mount out, we've got Reece James out, and there's one more. Well, there's one more that's out as well, and I can't think off the top of my head who it is. But yeah,
I also can't think of who it is either. No, there's one more.
Is it not? It's not Christensen, is it?
No. Let me.
Can't think. Anyway, I'll carry on.
Who is it? I'll try and find who it is while you're having a chat.
But yeah, as I said, I'm not. I think we could go there. We should definitely go and apply the pressure, because I don't think Juve are what they were. But obviously, they've still got threat going forward. I'm not going to lie, I don't know too much about Juve. I haven't really watched them for a few years. But obviously, Ronaldo going to Man United is obviously a bonus. But
yeah, of course,
they're struggling in the league, aren't they? So I do think we go there, we take it to them, keep the ball, play fast football. Matt, what I'm seeing at the moment, right? And it's reminding me of Sarri Day. It's reminding me of the Sarri days. Pick the ball up. Go backwards. Go sideways. Aspilicueta was frustrating every time. Obviously, he's not him. It's not his game to go run, steam down the line, cross the ball in. But mate, it was so
slow, isn't it? It's slow,
so negative, and I hope we do not go there and do that. Pass the ball sideways, pass the ball backwards. Can't do it. But
I hope he doesn't go there to get a draw, or I hope he doesn't go there to not lose. Is what managers like to say. I kind of want him to go there and just go like all guns blazing and just enjoy it. Pulisic is the other one that's been ruled out as well, so he's the fourth.
Of course,
But of course it's Pulisic. He's always out. But I hope he just doesn't fear. One player I really want to see play, I really hope Loftus-Cheek actually starts, because when he came on against City, he was probably our best player of the whole game when he came on, and he played about 15 minutes. And then when he played against Villa in the cup as well, he was decent when he was picking the ball up, traveling the yards, going through the lines, breaking lines. He was very, very good against Villa. And when he came on against City, he was probably our brightest player on the pitch for 15 minutes, and he was the only one that made anything look like it was going to happen.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean with Loftus-Cheek. He did come on and he was our best player. I have something against Loftus-Cheek, and I don't. Maybe he's coming back and he's going to start doing well and stuff like that. But I've always thought he's so flipping lazy. Like, he's got this chart. He had it with Conte, I think. He's got a chart, or Sarri, one of them. He's got a big chance. He comes on in the game and he's walking. I always remember it. It's always stuck in my head. And he just doesn't take his chances. But on Saturday, he was very good. But the
trouble with it, when he hit that form, do you remember when Sarri was in charge? And Loftus-Cheek hit that form, and he was playing consistently every week. He was scoring goals. And then he got an injury, didn't he, in some charity game at the end of the season in America.
Yeah.
That kind of killed it for him, because he was picking up momentum. I think he was like 23, 24 at the time. Sort of at that age where it's quite sort of clinical what you do in your career. And he was picking balls up, picking games up, scoring goals, picking the ball up, moving past players, playing really, really well. And then the injury kind of killed it for him.
Yeah.
But I will say this now, and I think this is quite a bold opinion. I'd rather have Loftus-Cheek than Declan Rice. I don't know if that's like stupid or whatever, but I think I would take Loftus-Cheek over Declan Rice. I'd rather keep Loftus-Cheek rather than spend 100 million on Declan Rice.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, probably would as well. Yeah.
Because if Loftus-Cheek can start picking up form, because everyone talks, Lampard didn't do it with these players here, whatever. You've got a rubbish team, this, that, whatever. Tuchel clearly can get the best out of anyone right now, because you look at Christensen, was sort of bang average under Lampard. Tuchel's turned him into like one of the best centre backs around.
Yeah.
Same with Rudiger. Rudiger couldn't even get on the bench. Do you know what I mean? He was probably cooking Lampard dinner. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't do anything, bruv. He couldn't get anywhere near the squad. And Tuchel's turned him into an absolute monster. Yeah. Marcus Alonso, same with him. He was probably serving Lampard his dessert because he couldn't get anywhere near the bloody team. He was honestly dire, bro. He couldn't get near it at all. Yeah. And these players on that, and Jorginho is another one of them. He's turned these players into something next level, which is why I think Loftus-Cheek could be quite promising, because he just seems to have this ability to turn mediocre players into some of the best in Europe.
I do agree, but I just think Loftus-Cheek's got a lot to go, because who are you taking out of that team? It's another question. Like, you've just bought Sal. I don't know how much we bought him for. Isn't it a loan move? Isn't it?
It's a loan, yeah. Oh.
We've got him. You've got Kovacic. You've got Jorginho. You've got Kante. You've got different players in there, and they're like midfielders. They're supposed to be like the best players on the pitch. Like, Loftus-Cheek's got a lot of work to do to try and get in front of these.
Right now, I would not let Sal clean my shoes, mate.
Oh yeah,
that guy is flipping hell, bro. I don't even have any words.
You think, right? We play a 2 in holding midfield. Would you? This is a question for you, actually.
Yeah.
So you would start Loftus-Cheek on? Oh, because Kante's not playing. Is that why?
Kante's out. So it's probably quite clear. He's probably going to go Jorginho and Kovacic in the midfield. Yeah, that's realistically what he'll play. But I'd love to see Ruben start, because I think he can be quite dangerous in a midfield where you've got Jorginho sitting a bit deeper and Ruben with that role where he's allowed to roam a bit. He's allowed to pick the ball up, drive through the lines, drive forward with the ball. I think it's a funny one. It's
a funny one as a manager, because if you were Tuchel right now, right? So you were in charge of Chelsea, maybe you'd think, you'd love Loftus-Cheek the way he plays, but you'd think, we're going to go safe here. I'm going to keep my job safe. I'm going to play Kovacic and Jorginho. Do you know what I mean? Because we're fans at the outside. And us fans, we're so fickle. Like, bring the youngsters through, do this, do that. But you're thinking that he ain't got time on his side. Like, he hasn't got time.
No. Especially at Chelsea as well.
Exactly. He's got to bring his best players. So if it's a decision like, do I start Loftus-Cheek that's never hardly played in Champions League games, like big as this? Do I actually start him against Juve? Or is that like probably when we're probably through the group and then Ruben maybe come in and play? Do you know what I mean? Playing him in this game so big, you've got to probably go with the guns that you know what
I would say as well, Tuchel hasn't yet at Chelsea been under pressure. He's not had the board and the fans kind of breathing down his neck or knows that he's got eyes on him the whole time. I'm not saying he has got that now, but with a loss at City, if he then, speak hypothetically, if he lost to Juve tomorrow night and then went into the weekend against Burnley, I think we've got Burnley. Is it Burnley? Southampton, sorry. If he goes into the game against Southampton and say he doesn't pick up a win against Southampton at home, that's a loss to City, a loss to Juve, and a loss or a draw to Southampton at home. Is he then going to have the pressure? Is he then going to have to feel the pressure? Because we've not seen what Tuchel is like under the pressure, where you knew before Lampard got sacked, you knew he was under pressure. You knew he had to go out and get a result. Yeah. Same with previous Chelsea managers in the past. How does Tuchel cope under that pressure? So will he go into the game tomorrow thinking, I've just lost to City, I don't want consecutive losses, so I'm going to play Jorginho, Kovacic, Alonso and Aspi on the wings, back three of my standards, Christensen, Thiago Silva and Rudiger, Havertz, Lukaku, maybe Werner will play because Mount's out. And Mendy, will he just go with his strongest, safest team get a result so that people kind of think, oh, so he's bounced back from that City game. Do you know what I mean? Whether he won't want to lose that second game in a row, because I don't think we've ever lost 2 games in a row under him so far.
No, he will go with his strongest team tomorrow that he thinks is good enough to do that job. Like whether it's in a real world, he don't start Loftus-Cheek. Like he won't. It will be the teams, that we've seen that we could sort of pick ourselves. The back three is interesting. Like, will Thiago Silva play? Probably. He's got that experience.
The
back three
with Reece James being out. Out, I think Aspi will play right wing back, or he plays Hudson-Odoi right wing back and Aspi Rudiger Christensen. But again, I don't think he does that in this game.
No, he won't. He won't try and change. I think against City, maybe he tried to be a bit too clever with it, and maybe he thought, "Oh, Pep's not expecting this or whatever." But again, he'll go back to old ways, winning ways. I don't know why he changed it. It was a bit weird.
It's like the saying, isn't it? If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Don't fix it if it's not broken.
There was clearly no need to adjust it. When it's been working so well. So I think you're right when you say he'll go back to it.
Yeah, I think he will, and I think that's why he came out after it and said that it's my fault. But obviously, the players you pick should go and do a better job than they did. But at the end of the day, it was his team.
Do you know what though? What I loved about Tuchel is he came out after the game when he got a loss and he was like, "I got it wrong. My tactics were wrong. Here's that." Not these absolute bums who come out and go, "We should have had the penalty. That goal should have been disallowed. That goal this, that goal that." Bro, if you have lost a game, clearly your tactics were wrong. You can't defy a game on one decision. So when you got the likes of Klopp, Solskjaer, and whoever else coming out going, "We should have had that penalty," or "that should have been offside," or that was handball, whatever it might be. But you had, bar that 10-second incident, you had 89 minutes and 50 seconds to win the game. So clearly for that amount of time, your tactics weren't good enough to beat that team, and you come back and use it as an excuse. I loved the fact Tuchel just came out and said, I got it wrong. It takes a brave man and a bold man to do that. And I think he was just brave enough to just come out and say, "Yeah, I got it wrong." And that's why I think he might bounce back tomorrow. I think we should get the win, really. Yeah,
he is very honest. And that might bite him in the arse soon enough. I don't know, but he's very honest.
Yeah.
I want to spin something back on you, right? Because all this manager talk, right? How much of it is actually down to tactics? How much you think?
Do you know what? A lot.
We could play City next week, right, with the same tactics, and they just might be off it, and we might just win.
I think a lot of it comes down. So my genuine opinion on it is a lot of it comes down to whether the players on the day are on it or if they're not. A lot of it comes down to that. So a lot of the time when I see managers getting blamed for stuff, I think, but they're putting their way across of how they want to play. Clearly, the players aren't good enough to implement the way they want to play. So it's down to the players. But on the flip side, I'm going to kind of contradict myself now. Lampard had this same crop of players bar Lukaku. So if you take Lukaku out of that team, Lampard had that same crop of players. It didn't work. Clearly, it didn't work because he didn't come out with anything and he lost his job. Those same players are now the champions of Europe. I think a lot of it comes down to manager tactics, because clearly Lampard's tactics weren't working, and clearly Tuchel's do, because otherwise we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. So that's why I think a lot of it, and I think an awful lot of it, comes down to managers' tactics. It's also a lot down to the players, yes, because they're the ones that have to actually put it into effect. But it's a little bit like Manchester United. Look at their squad in general. You just look at their squad on paper. Their squad is a joke of a squad. But I don't think their manager is good enough to take that squad to a Premier League or a Champions League. If you look at the managers on the market, you've got Zidane and Conte. If either one of those managers were in charge of Man United, I think Man United win the Premier League because of the squad they have.
Yeah, good point.
So I think a lot comes down to the tactics of the manager and the system a manager wants to play. Clearly, Chelsea over the years have benefited from a coach who is strong defensively, and knows how to attack at certain points in the game. Knows when to go forward, knows when to defend the lead. Mourinho was good at it. He goes 1-2 goals up, and then we just shut up shop and win games like that. And some say it's boring, this, however, but it works, and clearly it works because we've been the most successful club in England since 2000. Yeah. So clearly it works, and Chelsea have this kind of DNA that we've got to have a strong defensive back line, creative midfielders, and then just a big lump up top. We've had it with Drogba, Costa, Lukaku. Now we've had these. It's not worked when we've had Morata didn't work, Higuain didn't work, because they're not players that we can play it into feet, hold the ball up, draw players in, bring out defenders, whatever else. So we have this DNA and this way of playing. Lampard clearly didn't suit that DNA, whereas Tuchel did. So I think you look at what Tuchel's done with the same crop of players that Lampard has, and I think that answers the question. I think it does come down to managers' tactics an awful lot.
That's interesting, because as you said it, I think it's all about clicking. Like if some managers have come to Chelsea, it hasn't worked. They're still great managers, but it just hasn't worked because of they haven't implemented the Chelsea way as such. Because Tuchel went to PSG, didn't do that well, and everyone was a bit like raised eyebrows about Tuchel coming in. But I do think sometimes it's just a match, isn't it? You've got them players there, and they can fit your system. Where Tuchel could go somewhere else and maybe not do as well because it's just not the same. But one thing, right? Yeah. I was watching. So Abramovich spent billions on Chelsea, right? Mm-hmm. And we play City. They haven't been round for that long, obviously, being how they are. Obviously, Pep Guardiola's their manager. Abramovich must be sitting there going, "Why don't we play like these?" Because that's what I remember. He came out saying that's what he wanted, wasn't it? He wants to see. He wants to see fast attacking football. That's why we bought Sarri in. That's why he sort of turned and brought them managers in. And I'm sitting there thinking, we're so far off City, mate. We don't break as quick as them. We don't keep the ball as good as they do. They're just ruthless. I watch Liverpool and I get it. We like different styles. And like you say, the Chelsea way, lumping it up to Lukaku, running off, being defensively solid. But Liverpool don't have to be, because they keep the ball so well and they move it quick. But when you see Liverpool attack, zoom, they are forward, mate. You don't see flipping Thiago for them turning around, playing it back. They've always got options. And we don't. Lukaku was like a statue on Saturday. Werner, no runs. It's all about the movement, and that's not quite there at Chelsea at the moment. But I do hear you. I do think Roman, like sitting there thinking, I'm spending all this money, right? And we ain't playing like fast attacking football.
Do you think he's bothered about the style of football we play, or do you think he's bothered about the fact we've currently got the Champions League in our trophy cabinet?
Yeah, well, that's a great point.
Like clearly the trophies are more important to Abramovich than the style of play. So I think at the end of the day, he's probably sat there thinking, right, what we done in the last 6 months? Champions League, Super Cup. He's probably not complaining.
No, I get that, but yeah.
So I know what you mean. Yeah, no, it is an interesting question.
Yeah, I get it, but if are we going to win the league this year? I personally don't think so. I think City will win it, and winning the Champions League is probably a big ask for us this year again. So I don't know. I would love to go to Chelsea, man, and see and watch like attack, like fast attacking football,
ruthless football. Yeah,
but as it like, I don't know. Like as you said, it's like the Chelsea DNA. Whatever players you bring in, right? I just don't know. I just don't know if we're ever going to see it, unless like you see Pep Guardiola come in that actually loves that sort of won't accept anything else. I just don't think the manager.
It's interesting to say, but I think it's up to some fans, and some fans prefer the attacking, entertaining football. Some fans just don't really care as long as you're winning games, winning trophies. So it's one of those where I think it's down to just personal opinion, that one.
Hey, if win trophy, I'd rather play boring football and win trophies, by the way.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would rather go through a Premier League season winning every single game 1-0 and 2-0, but winning the Premier League at the end of it. 100%.
Yeah. But
anyways, I've got one more question for you. Now, this is quite an interesting one. And me and you had a little brief conversation about this the other day. Stamford Bridge, the church, you know, we all go there. Brilliant ground. I absolutely love the place. How do you feel about a possible rebuild or a redevelopment? How do you think that either benefits or goes against the club? How do you think that would work if Chelsea were to redevelop or rebuild Stamford Bridge? Do you think because you look at West Ham, Upton Park, they had the atmosphere, they had that ground, they moved to the London Stadium, and it's only really started going well in the last sort of year and a half. They really, really struggled at the start because of that stadium move. How do you think it goes if we rebuild Stamford Bridge? How do you think it affects positively or negatively?
If there was a fence by now,
come on,
splinters up my arse. I'm for it because I want a season ticket in a better area. Do you know what I mean? Like I do want to get more fans in there, but I don't want to get to that point where you don't fill it and it looks crappy. Do you know what I mean? And I get it. It's Stamford Bridge. It's like that's our home. Like I sort of love it because it's like old. It's like looks old and it's like an old school stadium. But the other side of the coin is getting more fans in there, more atmosphere, like building it. Like imagine, I hate Spurs, but their stadium is unreal, mate. Like that wall, they've got that big wall that goes up. Everyone's standing. It looks quality. If it was like built like Spurs is, I would take it. I would like that. But if they're going to knock it down and move away, no chance in hell.
So if they came out next week and said we got plans in 2024, we're going to knock down Stamford Bridge, we're going to play one, we're going to like Spurs did, we're going to have a season at say Wembley or perhaps Twickenham Stadium, something like that. We're going to have a season there and we're going to rebuild the stadium on that same ground, but our capacity is going to be 60,000 or 65,000 as opposed to 42, is it? Ours has got at the minute.
Yeah.
So would you be happy for a complete rebuild on the same place, or a bit like Liverpool have done and just expand the stands on the current stadium we've got and increase the stands and sort of build it up a little bit like Barcelona, where they've got literally like 3 or 4 tiers of seats? Would you rather us build up Stamford Bridge or just completely get rid of it and build a whole new stadium on that same patch?
People are going to hate this, but I'm going to say I'd knock it and build a new one. It just yeah.
See, I'm not for that.
But Matt, the thing is, right, this is why I'm worried about it. This is why I'm 50-50. If it works, brilliant, but it's not got that guarantee. Arsenal, they've done it, and look where they are now. I do think, though, Roman Abramovich is a different animal. Like, he will invest in the club all the time. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you see Spurs, and you see where they are now as well. If it stops us from buying top players for a long period of time, then no. But I don't think they can expand Stamford. That's why they have to knock it down. They can't.
Right. Yeah.
They were going to build down on it, I think, and go up, but they can't expand it. That's what because there's hotels behind it and all that, isn't there? So that they can't expand it. So if we want it bigger, mate, if you want to get a ticket easier, you should be for it, mate. But
the reason I'm against
history, isn't it?
So the reason I'm against it is because Stamford Bridge is where we've had our bulk of success. Like, and I look at, like you say, I look at West Ham struggled, Spurs. I wouldn't say it's backfired, but
West Ham have moved into an Olympic stadium. It's totally different, isn't it? They're
but I suppose the concept of it, we're talking going into a new stadium.
Yeah.
If you're talking it like that, West Ham, they struggled to start with. They're picking it up a bit now, but they still struggled. And I don't like West Ham Stadium because the seats are so far away from the pitch. Like, I hate it. Arsenal, look where they are. Like we said, Spurs, I wouldn't say it's backfired, but it's had a negative impact on their finances and who they're able to bring in as players. They're signing players like Romero and Gil, like who are them? Do you know what I mean? I don't know who they are.
I do think that's down to Daniel Levy as well. I don't think Abramovich will ever stop buying top.
No, I don't think Abramovich would ever let that happen to Chelsea. But I think you're talking about buying, like building a new stadium. That's what billions. That's going to take a big dent out of your club's funds.
Mate, he fucking sits on a chair and he could pull £1 billion out of his pocket and he wouldn't even fucking know.
But the thing is, we're talking like 400 or 500 billion for a new, like, top elite stadium. I'm pretty sure Spurs' was like 400 billion, was it? Or am I being ridiculous?
I think it's 1 billion.
I don't know. I don't care.
Man said 400 billion. Jesus Christ.
You're talking either way, talking in billions. That's a lot of money to come out of a club. It's one of those where
it's one of them. Do you want to sit on the virtual waiting room or do you want to get a ticket nice and easy?
So this is the thing. It would make it so much easier for fans, for people like myself. I don't have, like, with you. You've got a season ticket. Yeah, it's quite. You get your ticket easy, whatever. For me, like you say, I've got to sit in the waiting room. I've got to wait for a ticket.
Yeah.
It's long.
41,000 ain't enough, mate. We can't sit here all the time. We can't sit all the time and go, yeah, but we've always been there. We've always been there, yeah. But in 30 years' time, they're not going to still have Stamford Bridge. It will be renovated.
So I was exactly like I was going to say.
Our kids will remember the new Stamford Bridge.
Well, there you go, exactly that. But the way I look on it, if we want to be considered I'm kind of 50-50 whether I would be happy for a redevelopment or not. But if we want to be considered in that elite bracket of club, Barcelona Stadium, they've got like 90,000. It's a joke. Similar with Real Madrid, they've got that many in there. Man United 75,000. I don't know how many City have got, 50, but I'm pretty sure 50. It's about 50 odd thousand. Arsenal, what's that? 60 odd, is it?
60.
Spurs probably isn't far
61.
off.
They went 61 to beat Arsenal.
Yeah, so all these other Liverpool's as well. Theirs is pretty big and all, and even like Bayern Munich, Dortmund, their stadiums can hold a lot of people. We're talking elite level of clubs. If Chelsea want to be in that bracket, I do think stadium does matter, and I think you've got to have minimum 55, 60,000, in my opinion, for a club of this level. Like we're talking about the champions of Europe here. We're not talking about a mid-table team battling for top four or whatever. We're talking about a team fighting for the Premier League and holders of the Champions League. We should have a stadium with about 60 odd thousand in it.
Mate, Newcastle.
I would be exactly. I would be gutted to see Stamford Bridge knocked down. Like, I think it would. A small piece of me would just slowly like die as I saw it get knocked down. But it's like Spurs again. I hate them. I hate that club. But the feel, the atmosphere when they built that new stadium, that first game when they went in, like it's you could tell there was an atmosphere. There was a buzz around everything. And I think that would be 10 times better for the best club in London. Do you know what I'm saying? All the fans would be fucking buzzing. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of those where I feel like it's properly gonna like split opinions massively.
It will.
You're obviously for it. I'm kind of sat on the fence. Like, I'm not really too sure either way. But I think it's a really interesting question.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not fully for it. I'm 60-40 for it. But that 40% is like a big 40%, like really hard to picture it. But as I said, like going in the stadium, more fans there, like I do think is a big bonus. And as you said, we are an elite club, like we're the champions of Europe. Do you know what I mean? We should be having more fans in the stadium than that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, anyway, as I've asked all my other guests as well, one last question. And I think you've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but one last question. Can Chelsea win the Premier League? Yes or no? So I'll ask you, can we win the Premier League? And then I'll say, do you think we're going to win the Premier League? So can we win the Premier League this year with what we got?
Yes.
Do you think we're going to win the Premier League with what we've got?
No.
Oh,
I don't. I'm honest.
Do you know what? I'm actually the same as you. I think we can win the league with what we've got, but I don't think we will. I think we'll come very, very close. I personally think there's going to be 4 teams that could win it with about 2 weeks left to go of the season. I think it's going to be that tight. But I don't think we will.
I just think we'll drop points. I do think we'll drop points.
I think we win the Premier League within the next 2 or 3 years. I think we do win it in the next, you're talking this season or next. I think we'll win it, one of these two. But it's going to go so close, but I just don't quite see it happen. And I'd love to be proved wrong. I would love to be proved wrong, but I think it's going to be so close.
Yeah, it will be close. It will be close. But I think we'll drop silly points. I do think that.
Yeah.
It'll
be interesting to see.
It's ones, when you go away to Newcastle and it might be like a 1-1 or they might just scrape it 1-0. Newcastle. Yeah. They're the ones where we've got to get that right.
Well, look at it last season. Our bogey side was West Brom, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
West Brom.
Yeah.
And did they not finish bottom? And they was the team we drew and lost against.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's it.
We need to sort that out if we want to win the Prem, because I think we're okay against the bigger sides. We're all right.
We turn up.
It's when we go away. It's like you say. It's when we go away to Newcastle or away to Southampton, and we go and we get a draw or they nick a 1-0, and it's just it's so deflating. But I have full faith in Tuchel that we're not gonna see that as much anymore. Yeah. But it's one of those where it could go either way.
I'll find out.
It's gonna be a close season. But either way, whatever happens, we are Chelsea through and through. And my team could get relegated, and I'd still have blue blood, bruv. Trust me on that one.
Anyways, relegated.
Anyways, mate, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's been quite good because I don't think many of the watchers and the fans have had much of your opinions on it. You're usually the one asking the questions, so
it's weird.
So we've got your insight on it a little bit.
Yeah,
the viewers are enjoy. And I would ask, this is the point where I would ask for your socials, but that's a bit of a stupid question, really, isn't it?
SW69's TV.
Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, follow us on all the socials. Just hit 2K the other day, so obviously the push to 3K is on. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to tune in next week. There will be an episode next week. I don't think we've got a game on Tuesday next week, so there will be an episode. And we'll probably have a Juventus review Thursday or Friday, most likely. We'll have one out. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good evening, and we look forward to seeing the game tomorrow. Hopefully Chelsea can pick up the points. And as always, up the Chelsea.
Up the Chelsea.